Morning, people. This is the second part of the repair on this COMMTEL COM101 20 channel scanning receiver. Basically, what I'm doing on this part is reinserting the supercapacitor. Basically, that's here. We just switch over and I'll show you what that looks like. Over to the thingy. Let me just open this up quickly because and to my mind the cap is there for a reason, so it needs to be restored. If that's just my opinion, that and this is because this gets used in my own property. And I do see these quite often, so and as I said on my previous video, there are quite a handful of common problem with these basically. So all right, so let's right, this is the base, this is that, and that's that. Okay, so let's not confuse the lot. Those are the motherboard. This should be straightforward, easy piece of repair, as long as I can get the logic board out, and it won't come out now, so I've got to be nice and gentle with it for some reason. That's what it's asking me to do. Right, I would like to replace the LED on this basically, that's burnt out, but I'll have a look at that after. Okay, so let's get the Metcal station on, and I'll probably switch over to the microscope. Let me sort of move this over for a sec. Okay, what tip do I have? That's perfectly fine. Let's turn on all this stuff. Let's go under the microscope and okay, so let's restore that view back. Let's go under the microscope and I can then show you what it is that I'm doing. Whoa, that's a heavy piece of metal, that. Right, ideally I would like to sort of take all these connections out and all this business, but I'm not going to do that because then I've got to desolder all this business, so that's not happening. Suppose I can ease things, I can always remove this, but again I've got to put it back on, haven't I? So let's think. Let me get my thinking cap on. Yeah, definitely. I'll take this plate off. I'll take this back plate off basically, so it makes things a little bit easier for me basically. So let's see if I can take this off with ease. It's going to be tough, that, for this the surface tension is absolutely immense. Alright, okay, I've ripped it out actually. The surface tension is absolutely immense. So there you go, I've just ripped it out. Don't worry about it. I need a larger soldering tip to sort of do what needs to be done basically. So that's okay, so the board is kind of free and I can wiggle the board around, which makes things a lot easier for me. Right, let's get the cap and get to action basically. Right, I may need to clear the soldering from the previous thingy. So let's apply a bit of flux, which will help the situation greatly. These are just little shields, are just heat shields from EMI. So there's components that are quite susceptible to EMI. So that's one of the reasons why those shields are in place. Sadly, I'm not totally satisfied with the backlight. Let's just Alright, let's probably leave the backlight running. Right, okay, let's clear these solder pads first. But before doing so, let's get my copper braid. Something as simple as that still takes a bit of time. So patience is the key factor. There we go. Let's get this here. Beautiful. Beautiful. So let's put that to a side. Make sure the fume gets sucked in. I'll give it a clean up one time. Okay, so the orientation is it's pretty easy, you know, it's not rocket science. Look, it's already in marking, so it'll sit like this basically. The upper arm, this particular arm will be on here just like that. Well, look at the marking in comparison between the two. Look, see? Okay, so it's a simple thing. All right, there we go. Beautiful. Right, now I've got to hold it and at least apply a bit of solder on one of the legs so it doesn't drop out basically as I'm resoldering it back in. So snip a little bit of a solder wire. Again, flux on both legs. It is critical to apply flux when you're doing a solder joint because it makes the joints far superior, and that's how it should be done. No, rather than just. All right, so sorry, just not sort of, and I'm standing as well, so that doesn't help either. Just make some space for myself. Right, okay. It's sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes a 2-minute job can turn out to be an absolute utter nightmare. So you probably would think, oh, that's just fucking 2 minutes job. Of course it is 2 minutes job, but all right, let's going to struggle with the angling that I have. You're going to struggle to see anything, particularly the solder joints. So all right, quite satisfied with that. That's done and dusted. Just wait for the fume to get sucked in by the fume extractor, clean the tip, and the tip goes back in his stand, the tip saver stand for the COMMTEL series. Right, okay, let's turn the fan off. All right, so we're virtually done for now, almost. I've still got to put that thingy back on. Right, so let's alright, so that's good enough clean that. Let's use another cotton bud and make sure that there's nothing left behind here. Right, okay, so that's been taken care of. I've cleaned the surface. There you go. Alright, that's much more better view. Yeah, satisfied? Those are the 2 points. If I can just point it out to yourself, those are the 2 points basically. That one and that one. Them are the 2 joints what I've just made off, if you guys are wondering. Right, what's next? I need to source an LED for this basically. Now, I wonder what type of LED it is and whether that is something that I can... Whoa, gotta be careful that I don't... Sometime you want... Oh yeah, I can see the... It's not an LED, it's a little bulb. Tiny little bulb, oh my god. Right, okay. I wasn't thinking that that would be the case, so what I'll do is let me power up the unit and see what sort of voltage is coming through that terminal. And then I will decide where this is heading basically. So first thing first is let's switch back to the bench. Alright, so the other thing I can do is let me get the bench. Well, I've got the bench power supply set on something else, sadly, so I'll probably have to adjust the voltage to 12 volts at 1 amp or 2 amp if you've got a power supply. 1 amp is more than enough basically. Right, so just be careful I'm not shorting anything out. In fact, I'll probably put it back in its place because this loom is attached, and sadly when you're trying to make things work again, sometimes I get trolled. So power off, that goes in, power on. So everything's restored. The volume button is restored, the squelch is restored, and there's nothing on the memory that's been erased. What I will do, if I can show you. Oh man, I hate this. I absolutely hate this. Right, here you go. Right, so what we're going to do is program 454.700, and I believe line out. No, not line out. Just enter. That's it. You just sit on that. If you want, you can just leave it on scanning, and it on that particular channel, as you can see, it's just flicking. Channel 6, I should say. I'll stop it here. That will have stored the data now. All right, so that's that. Let me see if I can source a bulb. Right, so let's see what the voltage is on that terminal, and whether if I can actually if you guys can see this. There's so much stuff on the fucking bench, absolutely drive me bonkers. But what do? You just need a lot of them. You just need it. There's no two ways about it basically. Right, right, okay, so I need a 6-volt bulb basically. Yeah, 5.66 volts that's coming up with. I don't recall if I've got an LED bulb to that size. 6 volts, 6 volts, 6 volts. Those are all 3 volts basically. I can get a resistor and reduce the voltage, but all this messing around basically. Is it really worth it? Well, let me just recap my memory. If there's anything that I can use, even I might get away with a 12-volt bulb basically. If I had one. All it does, it's not necessary to replace it, because all it is just to give that bit of light. Let me see. Right, I quit looking for a bulb. I just can't find one. Ideally, the bulb is like similar to the bulbs what you have. It's a tiny one, like behind the car dashboard. Basically, those are the type of bulbs, like it's a capsule actually. That's the type of bulb. It's a tiny one, very small one. And sadly, I just don't recall having anything to that extent that I can find there and then. But I'll have a quick look through these tubs basically I have here. Just a very quick look before reassembling the whole thing back together, because I don't want to be spending too much time effing around, with this thing. No, I think I'm going to sort of throw my towel in here, because I don't have it. I don't recall having anything like that. So sadly, that's no go. That. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the unit back together now. All right, unfortunately. So what I'll do is I need to sort of reinstate this plastic piece back in its place. So I'll be using double-sided tape. Okay, just a bit of double-sided tape, and get this reinstalled. And maybe in the future, when I strip it down, and I've got the part. It's a very awkward size. 5-volt, 6-volt, 5.66. So if you round it off, it's a 6-volt back bulb. It just doesn't fucking make any sense. What am I looking for? The tweezers now. And now I need the tweezers, and it's going to mess me around. Yeah, there it is, you piece of crap. Okay, so that's been taken out. Let's reinstate this back in its place. Alright. Because I'd like to put things back the way they are. This counter, I should say the receiver, is donkey years old. We've had this for a very long time actually, so it's packed out, and I don't blame it, because it's had his days, and it's still running. I mean, don't get me wrong, still the daft thing is still going basically. Okay, enough of talking. Let's reassemble the whole thing back in 18 minutes. Wow. Sadly, as I was wiggling this wire, that just came off basically, so I'm not going to use this bag of crap. What I might use is a single core. Let me just have a quick look. That's going to be too much of a trouble. Yeah, I'd probably use something like this then. Something like that. That wire. There's a lot more flex to it, so probably use a bit of that. It was having some sort of an interference of EMI interference, whatever you like to call it, basically, resulting into doing what it was doing. So I couldn't quite understand. So as soon as I looped a wire onto the metal part, it starts working like magic again. So let's power this on. I'm gonna have to turn the soldering station on. Not inhaling any of that fume crap, basically. Absolutely not, mate. Right, and bit of a flux. Okay, get the wire. Beautiful. That's the beauty about having larger tip. They just go through wherever the joint is like. So what I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to leave this a bit longer, so I can maneuver a little bit should I need to open this ever again, which I doubt it very much, but only time will tell, right? Only time will tell. So again, a bit of flux, make sure you don't drop that. Let the solder flow better. Once that's done, I don't need solder wire because there's plenty of solder on the actual board by default, and I hope you can see, yeah, you can see the solder. There it is. There. All right. Boom. There we go. Hold it for 3 seconds. The golden rule. And certain things, not all things. I wouldn't advise you to sort of, well, I wouldn't personally sort of hit the meet the 3 second mark on sensitive components, basically. So no way. But yeah, that's satisfied. Do I need to clean the flux? I probably will. I don't want this video dragging any longer than, it's just a bloody supercapacitor. But when you start replacing a supercapacitor, but when you actually doing the actual work, that could turn out to be half an hour, whatever it is, basically. There are various processes that I'm applying and cleaning and all that business. A lot of the time, people would just leave because who cares? It's inside. Oh, nobody's going to see it and all that. Well, to me, a lot of the work I do is attention to detail. Because I enjoy doing what I do, and I'm not gonna. I don't. There's no two ways about it, basically. Right. So the speaker's on. Last time I actually didn't put the speaker on, so there was no sound coming through. I thought, oh bugger, right? Okay, is it causing another problem now? But it seemed like that I didn't actually stupidly didn't connect the speaker wire, so I just stripped it apart and put the speaker cable back on. Basically, just looking around, making sure that I've got everything. Just doing a visual. Let me sort of switch over to the microscope before sort of thinking. And there we go. All right, everything seems as it should do. Let's put this back. And yes, I can confirm that although that the supercapacitor was taken out, the unit was fully functioning. So I can confirm that to you, basically. All right, so always be careful with these buttons. I've been pressed, pushed out properly before you sort of reassemble the board. Right, okay, where's the antenna gone? It's a screw-on antenna. Right, the power supply set at 12 volt. I'm going to inject the power in. Okay, there we go. Okay, and that's the volume control. I'll just leave it in the middle. Now the programming is still there. So although it's powered off on channel 6, let me get to channel 6, the programming contains. There we go. Right. So that's all. I'm going to power off the unit and restore it back to its original place. I will make a little marking when the cap was replaced. And we shall take it from there, basically. So I will put a little label underneath just to say when the cap was replaced, and So if it does fail, I've got a fair bit of idea how long this cap have actually lasted. Right, so it's just today's date and whatever. But yeah, okay, guys. What I'm going to do is I'll pack up now. That's all. I'll catch up with you in my next video. Take care, stay well, stay safe, and look after your family. That's all. Bye for now.